1. Here are a few of the TVs in the building I call Storage 1. A lot of junk in here. Well, some people call it junk. Most of the antique TVs line up against this wall. Here's a 1953 Spartan. Got that out of an old house. Sat in an old house for 30 years. I believe that is a Fairbanks Morse from the mid-50s. Black and white, of course. A Motorola from the 50s, and someone has put a picture under the glass in front of the picture tube. Here's a little Emerson console from the mid to late 50s. 56, 57. Fairly nice shape. Got it from the original owner. There are a few vintage VCRs. I don't know why I kept them, but some early hi-fi units there. There's a couple of Zenith side loaders. Put the tape in sideways. Here's a little early 70s Sears. Not all these TVs are 50 years old, some of them are more recent. And here's another Spartan from the late 50s. Considered portable even though it weighed probably 50 pounds. There's another portable Spartan. I just like the looks of those. There's an Admiral, late 60s Admiral, 23 inch. And there's a little Admiral portable. It's not in very good shape. From the late 50s, I'd say. There's a Panasonic with a detachable remote. Neat feature. That's from about 1983. Here's an older Spartan. Nice wooden one, probably from the early 50s. And down here we have a few miniature TVs. Some are collectibles, some aren't. There's one that was issued by KitKat. Clear red plastic. There's one with a built-in radio and cassette player. And Quasar. There's a Electro-Home console from mid-60s, black and white. Just the cabinet's just like new. There's a Sony 1976 Sony Trinitron. I have another one of those that's a little more visible. I'll get to that later. There's another RCA color track from 1985. It's dusty. Really nice set. The original owner said that cost about retail for about $1,700 when it was new. There's a 1957 Rogers. That was my grandfather's, I believe. Another old radio. There are a few old radios around here too. Not all of my sets are antique. There's an 85 Hitachi. I always liked those. That one's in real good shape. There's another 85 Hitachi, remote controlled. And 1980 Hitachi. They're all in really good working order. We also have a few old cars, like old Hondas. That's one I fixed up there. 1980 Civic and 82 and 80 Preludes that I haven't even started yet. Another storage building. Lots of goodies in here. Call this place Storage 2. And a lot of old televisions in here. Start with the downstairs first, I guess. Pause this while I rearrange some of this junk. There's that's my oldest color TV, 1963 or 4 Sylvania. Picture tube is totally dead. Otherwise, I think it does work. There's a Philco Golden D. It says right on it. Well, says right on it, Golden D. Series. I have 2 of those. That one's a standalone model, and the one below it has legs on it, although the legs are stored somewhere else right now, I would say. Next to that is an old Dumont from the early 50s. Never plugged a lot of these in. And here's an early 60s RCA with the knobs on the side. Motorola from the 50s. Marconi, and I've got the piece of plastic that goes around the picture tube. Picture tube on that, by the way, is shot. Early 60s portable RCA with the knobs on top. There's an Emerson. I have the matching stand for that. It's in kind of rough shape. The plastic has been broken. Let's look around the CR2. And then that's an old Olympic color set from the mid-60s. I can't get a good shot of it, but it's a really heavy thing for only 12 or 13 inches. There's an old Panasonic from the mid to late 60s. I can't really see it. There's a Zenith underneath there somewhere. Old tube Zenith, but I guess it's not visible. There's a GE from the mid-50s, and it has these really neat rocket knobs. If I can see those. There, the rocket knob, but it's missing the left knob. Another 60s RCA there. And there's such a Philips console from the mid-60s. Beautiful sound to it. Next to that is this old Zenith Chromacolor 2 remote control console from 1976, and I have a matching remote for it. It's a very fancy thing, but you can't tell because of the way it's stored. I'm going to go upstairs. There's a few more. I call this the Tower of Televisions. Start at the bottom. That's an early 80s Hitachi, another one of those Hitachis. 1978 Zenith Space Command with a zoom feature. And I have the remote for this too. Late 70s Panasonic. There's another 76 Sony Trinitron. I think, I guess it's the other one, just needs minor repair. Panasonic. 86 Panasonic, nothing special. Another thing there, nothing special. Now we're gonna go up the stairs here. Anyway, now we're upstairs. There's the Tower of Televisions and a lot of TV parts here. Lots of assorted junk, I guess. Got a whole bunch of old Zenith modules, original brand new modules in the boxes. A lot of picture tubes, a few dozen. Some of them are more recent, some of them are antique. Some of them are new in the boxes. And as we get back here, we can see another bunch of televisions. I have to use the night shot, I guess. There's I can tell or not, that's a Sanyo red plastic, and there's a little Admiral, 9-inch Admiral, and 9-inch Fleetwood. Those have the same chassis. portable Sanyo, and that's only a 8 or 9 inch. Little GE from the early 60s. Panasonic black and white. That's got a flat screen, which was remarkable for the time, late 70s. And just a few more odds and ends there. Nothing real special. And let's see, there's a Philco from the late 60s. An old GE back here. You can't really see it. In the mid-70s. And another Zenith. 70s. Another old Zenith. Those were common at one time. And then a bunch more. There's another Panasonic. There's a little Toshiba trapezoid shaped TV. There's a Philco. I forget what it was called. It's not a Predicta or a Safari, but it's got the antennas on top. It's a real neat thing, but the picture tube's missing out of it. There's an Aiwa. There's another little Zenith. There's a matching pair of Zenith black and whites. There's a neat old one, RCA 17 inch. Picture tube shot. There's another little Viking portable. There's another, it's an RCA, I guess, black and white. There's an early Sony, didn't notice that. Picture tubes. These round ones are oscilloscope tubes. I don't have any round TV picture tubes, at least not loose anyway. The rest of my TVs are down here in the basement. My little lair has been at a time down here. A lot of things down here. Collectibles and things. Not as much as I used to have, but old radios. Yeah, I do some odd sewing, car seat covers and things. Oh, this is my little buddy. Keeps me company sometimes. Frisky. There's one of my two GE Portacolor sets. That one's from about 1968. It's in good working order. Well, used to be when I last used it. This is a late, probably about 1949, 1950 Philco. And here we have a Zenith Portal TV. These are quite collectible, but this is so heavy. Nobody would want to order it through the mail. This one's made about 1948, but the model number is missing, so I don't know. Over here, a few more of my antique TVs. There's some of the oldest ones. That's a 1957 Admiral black and white console, and it's quite dirty right now, but when it's cleaned up, it's in really nice shape actually. There's a 1948 RCA 8-T-243, I think is the model number. It's just the cabinet and the picture tube. I guess the chassis is in it, but it's been stripped and it's no good. It's all water damaged. And here's a General Electric also from about 1948. Somebody has painted it. And then we have another TV. This is an interesting one. General Electric from the late 40s, but it appears to be home built. Somebody ordered it as a kit and put it together. And I also have a homemade cabinet that goes with that, but it's just neater to display that way. So that's Another TV here. This is one of my favorites. 1966 GE Portacolor. I believe it's the very first model of the Portacolor series. It's VHF only. The 5 knobs on the side there. And right that was another little portable. That's from the mid to late 70s. It's an RCA. Just move around the basement here. Another radio, a bunch of records. And we're going to go into what I call the core. This is a very densely packed jungle of cabinets. There's a couple more radios. Pair of Westinghouse sets. It's hard to get a good shot of all this because I don't have a wide angle lens. But I'll start here. These old radios. Nothing really valuable, but nice just the same. Let's see why here you can get a better idea of this core thingy. It's, oh boy, very hard to get at this without a wide angle lens. But this is a densely packed. This is the middle of the basement here. And it's very, very densely packed. There's thousands of TV and radio tubes here. And probably mostly television. There's another TV in there, but I don't know if I can see it or not. It's early 70s Panasonic black and white under the Bradford name. And there are a couple more. And I get some more old radios. There's the Portacolor I was showing you. Books, bunch of vintage cassettes. I've collected a few vintage cassettes over the years. And there's a bunch of Memorexes. These old concert tapes, I always liked those.